Kouta, 99, the prelim result, unbelievable. Your last quarter was goes down in history of the game, what you were able to produce. Take us into the change rooms, though, post that win. What was it really like in there?
I should say I'll probably speak to Jared later, but his commentary on that game, when I look back, I just think, how could he foresee what was about to happen? But, Jared,
that's why we got him on, isn't it?
I thought I'd better throw that out because that's the honest truth, and I've never really had a chance until the other day to tell him.
Well, it was one of the great quarters, I've got to say, Kouta. You weren't flying absolutely all day, but you finished up with 29 disposals and 2 goals, and it was probably the first time we'd seen that big body go into the middle of the ground. We'd seen you as a wingman, we'd seen you as a centre-half back, and we've seen you do everything. But this game was one of the great games of footy, the 99 prelim final, where the Bombers went in as a $1.18 favourite. And I can remember before the match, John Elliott declared to all and sundry that the Bombers had actually cheated to win the 1993 grand final. So you can imagine the build-up to this particular game. They had no chance. They had absolutely no chance, the Blues. And I think because of poor goal kicking, at three-quarter time, what were you, Kouta? A couple of goals down, and then all of a sudden it turned.
Yeah, we were. We had a remarkable first half of the quarter. I will never forget before the game, John Elliott coming in the change rooms and just going around. He goes, Kouta, I've got a funny feeling about today. And I don't know, as a young kid, that got to me because I thought of the Carlton history and the culture and how they used to win games in finals when they weren't supposed to. So I'm not sure if it just affected me, but he did something for me like he always did, Big Jack. Absolutely loved him as a president. But I started in defence, and you're right, Jared, I waited years to get in that midfield. I mean, we had Williams and Bradley and Brown and Ratton and all these sort of guys. And they refused to play on the wing. Like, I just accepted playing anywhere, and they wouldn't play in defence or forward, where I would always just, wherever they needed me, I would play. So I sacrificed a lot of my game many times for the sake of the team. But I always believed deep down inside that I could play my best footy in the midfield, and I just unfortunately had to wait. And throughout that season in 99, people probably don't remember, I played centre-half back for the majority of the year. Well, really all of the year. But sometimes through either the second quarter or the third quarter, they'd throw me in the midfield and I'd finish off the game really well. So I had a great 99 season until the last 5 weeks when I got injured. But I had that opportunity that day. I was playing in either back pocket or half back, I can't remember. But I could feel the game. I could read the ball. I was marking well. And at three-quarter time, when Essendon played the way they should have played all day in that third quarter, they kicked 7-7. They got in front of us. That I was just at three-quarter time when the huddle was there thinking, please, just put me in the midfield. And the call didn't come until probably 2 or 3 minutes or 4 minutes in the last quarter. And I dare say it was that time when Murph had the ball at half forward and I was running like a little kid on that wing and sprinting down there, hoping that he would see me. And I'm assuming that he did. And he kicked that ball in and I took the mark. And that's where it started. And the boys all lifted. And I know, like the supporters would tell you, that apart from all the premierships that Carlton played in that game, they will probably go down as one of the favourites of all time. Yep.
I've spoken to Sticks Kernahan and Diesel and Barry Mitchell and David Parkin about that time between 99 and what was it, late in 2000 where you did your knee, Kouta. I don't want to embarrass you, but that's as good as football as has ever been played. I mean, people have been close and have equalled it, but Kouta elevated himself in that period to a performance that was 20 to 25 weeks of unbelievable gold.
And you're talking about it, Kouta, almost childlike. I mean, you're taking me back there. It's giving me goosebumps. Tell me, I've had the privilege of sitting in the ABC commentary box with David Parkin for the last 10 years, and I see a lovely, warm, intelligent, smart, beautiful man. I hear about this famous jugular, and I cannot believe it. Can you tell me what he was like at three-quarter time in the huddle of that game and then in the rooms afterwards?
I thought you were talking about me then, Kelly, but then I realised it was Parker. Parker, I can't remember what he said, like at three-quarter time. I really don't. Someone said that Sauce took us aside and spoke to us at three-quarter time. I really don't remember. All I remember was standing there thinking, just please play me in the midfield. But Parko, although I didn't see eye to eye to him early on, I absolutely adore the guy now. He was just a great motivator, great speaker. That jugular vein. And one time he probably doesn't want anyone to know this, he actually collapsed after screaming that heavily. And I didn't see eye to eye to him then, so I was hoping that he probably wouldn't recover that quickly. But he did, thankfully, because that's not the right attitude to have, is it? But He was a great man, and the death of my father was when probably he and I really connected well, because I needed people, and he was always, he was there for me at that time when I needed him. And I always say Barry Mitchell and Wayne Britton, my two greatest mentors, but Parko, I'll never forget as a father figure. And he was just a great man, and I miss him. And every time I see him, I have a smile on my face thinking that he's my premiership coach.
Can I just take you back to that last highlight, though, when Dean Wallace grabbed the ball and it looked like it was going to be all over for the Blues and John Elliott was going to have to eat his words for the next decade. And that tackle, what were you thinking when that all transpired?
I was scared. I mean, that last minute, Mark Mercuri had that ball. I love Mercs, not only as a friend but as a player. I thought he was always a threat, and he would have kicked that goal 9 times out of 10. I do not know to this day how he missed it. I'm sure he's feeling the same way. But, when the ball was kicked and Dean Wallace, I was there. I almost hit my foot, and luckily it didn't, because it just landed in Justin Murphy's hands. But Fraser Brown, who's a terrific guy and one of the greatest teammates you could have, he was so hard at it. He laid the biggest tackle that we'll always remember, and I can always thank him for that. And then Justin Murphy had the ball. So we were scared. I mean, it wasn't long to go, Jared, but the pressure was obviously on Essendon and not us. But obviously we wanted to win that game to make it to the grand final. So it was just remarkable. And I remember saying in the commentary to Richard Osborne afterwards, it's a dream. Like, I never thought after Essendon had beaten us by 40-odd points the first time we played them, and I think 70-odd points, and Jared, you would know, the second time that we played them. So we should not have even gotten close to them, and we were lucky to get over the line. Yeah,
in round 16 that year, you were beaten by 76 points, and from memory, Parko came out and described his own team as just a B-grade operation. So you certainly elevated yourself. Would it go down in one of your greatest ever games that you've witnessed or you've played in? Because here at Fox Footy, we're actually celebrating the greatest 50 games over the last 50 years, and without doubt, that's got to be in. It's in my top 5. Is it in yours?
Oh, definitely. I mean, if I'm going to be selfish, for a player to have beaten Essendon, one of our arch rivals who we should not have beaten, they were pretty much unbeatable by 1 point. 100%. My favourite game, I'll always say it's a 95 premiership, but this is close, in particular for the occasion being a preliminary final, and the last time really Carlton got to a grand final as well. So there's been some absolute ripping games, and not just Carlton games, obviously in the decades that I watched as well, Jared, but obviously I'm going to be biased and say this was the greatest.
Yep.